Mary's Garden blog. I am lazy today, so I'm going to actually talk to you about writing. Um, Everybody's situation is different. If you're an author, you have to find time to write. Some people are lucky and they can write full time. And even people who write full time, their situations are different. You have someone who writes full time and is young and single, and they live alone and they can write pretty much whenever they want. They're most likely independently wealthy if they write full time, but you never know. Then there's others who are established writers and they've worked hard to get where they are, and now they're full time writers. They still different situations. Some have a large family, they've got family obligations, they've got all kinds of things. And then you've got your writer who's taken a long time and now they're retired in the writing, and so they don't quite have as much obligation, family, things like that. So you never know, every situation's different. So you have to determine what is best for you and your situation. I would love to someday write all day long and just be a full-time writer 6 to 8 hours a day, and then on the weekends hang out with my husband, do whatever. Some of that 6 to 8 hours would be promotion, so I didn't have to do it in the evening. Basically, it'd be a full-time job. I would love that. That is my dream job. However, I have yet to hit that pinnacle or that breakout book that's going to send me rocketing to the top. um, I work hard, but I have a limited time. I work full time. And I also ride public transit in the morning. And so when I got my last laptop, I had these visions of taking my laptop and typing and on the bus. Well, what I didn't think about was that I don't just get on the bus and ride to work. I get on the bus, I ride to tracks, which is our train system, get off, sometimes wait anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, and sometimes I'm running to the tracks, which is really hard with a computer. Um, and then I have to get it all out again and ride to work. So it wasn't conducive to doing that. Plus I have to bring a laptop to and from work because I don't work in the same building every day. So 2 laptops is just a little much for me. So that's when I read. Uh, I, and some people say, well, take notes. Well, I'm not a note taker, a plotter, or anything like that. I don't plot out my scenes. I can take all the notes you want. When my characters get talking, I'm a pantser, I go with them. So I have all these notes and they just sit there. Now, before I start a book, I go and I completely go through research and do a loose synopsis, a kind of a loose guideline. So I kind of know the beginning, the middle, and the end, and then my character's pain in the middle. This last book that I'm writing right now is fantasy, and so I did a lot more research. But for me, I can't really take notes because they just never work out. Some people can. Like I said, everybody's different. So I have an hour in the morning, an hour at night that I read on the way to and from work, and then I work all day. So that's just not writing time. Once in a great while, I'll have a little bit of time at work that I can write on my lunch hour, but I have a 30-minute lunch hour, so it's kind of hard to really get in, write, and then get done. So I have tried it, and when I can, I do, because sometimes I'm not quite busy enough so that I can stretch that 30 minutes out, but normally I do not have time to write at work. So that means when am I going to write? I come home, I cook dinner. By the time I'm through cooking dinner at 7:30, 8 o'clock, I clean up. I try and make lunches or breakfast or whatever, get things ready, prepped for breakfast the next day. And it's like, I'm done. I'm done. So when do I write? I write before work. Um, it took me a long time to realize that if I really wanted to be successful, I had to, they say write, 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 and get the books out, because you're not successful until you hit a certain magic number of books and people know who you are, and then you start selling more. Apparently, I haven't got there yet. But so, I would write with my critique partner every day at Barnes, not every day, but every month or every other month at Barnes and Noble for a full day. And then I'd have a retreat and I'd do that. And then I'd write here and there on my own. Well, that's putting out a book a year or year and a half or whatever. Well, that wasn't cutting it. And so last summer I said, to hell with this. I have got to do something. I either want to write or I don't want to write. So what I did was I decided to write every morning before work. Yes, I have to be to work by 7:30. Yes, I have to catch the bus at 5 to 6. So I get up at 4:10. It was hard. It was really hard. I get up, I fix breakfast because I can't, I've got to make my day, productive. So I don't fix this big elaborate breakfast. Usually it's cereal or fruit, or if I scramble scramble the eggs the night before and then, well, I just put them in the bowl, scramble them, and then I cook them the next day so it doesn't take very long. Um, then I write, and it's usually around 50 minutes. Sometimes, if I'm lucky, it's an hour, but usually it's about 50 minutes. So I don't quite get 1,000 words done. My average is between 500 if I'm on a roll. I've actually made up to 700. If I have a full hour, sometimes I'll make it almost 1,000, but usually between 500 and 700. Hey, if I don't write, that's a lot better than not writing at all, if you know what I mean. And so do that every day. And then when I can on the weekends or with, writing retreat or critique partner, I'm actually started a book. I did for the fantasy, I did a lot of research and I really started writing in I can't remember the end of December, 1st of January. I'm already at almost 80,000. So it's May. For me, that's phenomenal. That's usually what my books are going to be, is around 80, 85,000, somewhere like this. This is a fantasy. It's probably going to take me twice as long because I imagine it's going to be around 140,000, maybe 160. We'll see. It's just going to be a lot longer. But if I can write a book in 5 to 6 months, and then of course you have to edit it and everything, I can get more books out by writing every day. And so that's my goal. That's my time management. It's not really managing time. It's just getting into a habit and a routine. So what do you do that gets you in the writing habit or routine? And readers, because I'm hoping that there's some readers that watch this, what is it that you like as far as an author? Do you read just all kinds of authors, or do you look at authors and say, oh, this author has 20, 30, 40 books out, so I'm going to read this person because this author must, know what's going on and be successful? Or do you like debut authors? What brings you, other than good writing? I mean, everybody, if it's a bad book, you're not going to read another book by that author. But what brings you to read that book? Is it the cover? Is it the blurb? Tell us what you like. And thanks for listening.